Hey guys, it's time for keywords. So we're looking at chapter 11, section point 1, and our keywords and concepts. First thing that it's important that you take away from this section is the idea of the social construction of race. Now, this is the idea that race is not biologically identifiable, and that all previous racial categories were based on pseudoscience, because they were. We invented race. We can actually trace historically when we invented race. This is all a social creation. Human beings are not very different, to be perfectly honest with you. There's more genetic differentiation in chimps than there are in humans. So we're really not that different. We socially constructed race. So that's the first thing you need to know about. Second one is the idea of a dominant group. Now, this is the group that represents rulers or is in the majority who can access power and privilege in each society. Now, I have a discussion question on here about who is this group in the US. And I know that sounds silly, but it's important that we talk about this because in the United States, the group that is the dominant group is still white people. When you look at Congress, businesses, all the major power institutions, you're going to see a lot of white people there. Now, just because in America, white people are the largest group, that does not necessarily translate to people being the dominant group. So, for example, in South Africa, the dominant group there are the white people. However, the majority group, the largest group, are the black people. So it's not necessarily who's the largest group, it's who's the group is that has the most power and has the ability to enact that power. Okay, and then the last thing from this section that I want you to keep an eye on is the idea of scapegoat theory. Now, this is the idea that the dominant group will displace its unfocused aggression onto a subordinate group. This is extraordinarily common throughout history. I believe your textbook uses Jews as an example. Jews were actually blamed for the plague. People thought Jews brought the plague. I know it sounds ridiculous now, but they really did. So you see this kind of thing over and over again. You see Hitler blaming the Jews for the loss in World War I. This is very common with ethnic minorities around the world. The dominant group is going to place that aggression onto that group just to have somebody to blame, essentially. Okay, so that's the concepts you need to understand from this section of the textbook.